Black Ops 2 is considered by many to be the best Call of Duty online experience, but for those new to the franchise, or maybe just this game, it can be quite confusing at first, so this is my little beginner's guide to Call of Duty Black Ops 2 online team deathmatch. Okay, so let's talk guns, perks, attachments and wildcards, the core of your Black Ops 2 experience. Now, unfortunately, to start off, you've got to use the default or specialist classes, and although the gear is fixed, they're pretty powerful, but as you play you'll earn points and you'll start to level up, and once you get up to level 4 you can start to create your own. Now, as you're leveling up you'll earn unlock tokens, but again, as long as you just open up the attachments and perks I talk about in this video, you'll have plenty to spare, so that you can start to experiment with different classes, weapons and perks later on in the game. You'll hear and you can read with lots of advice about which are the best assault rifles and submachine guns, but many of them aren't available until the much higher levels, but don't worry, the MTAR assault rifle and the PDW-57 submachine gun are good weapons that become great as you've leveled them up. I'd suggest start with the MTAR, which is available straight away, and start leveling it up by using it in public matches. You'll want to start by using the red dot reflex sight and make your way to the quick draw grip at weapon level 8. Now this can be a bit confusing, but as you're using the weapons they level up as well, and then you can add different attachments. The stock, which enables you to sort of aim down sight and move a lot better, is available at weapon level 12, and although you won't be able to use all three until you get to level 22 when you can equip the primary gunfighter perk, and then, though, the MTAR becomes capable of some very serious work indeed. Now, while this is going on, you're going to want to start levelling up the PDW-57 submachine gun, which becomes available at level 4. And you'll probably want to level up to the red dot reflex sight, the quick draw grip, and the long barrel to give you extra range, and that becomes available at weapon level 10. But again, you won't be able to use all three until you get to level 22, and you can attach the primary gunfighter perk. It may seem like a bit of a slog to get to level 22 and have those two guns set to really rip, but trust me when I say that it is so worth it, and you'll have so much more fun and kill so many more enemies when you've got them leveled up with those three features. Which one you will use will depend on the map and tactics and how the enemy is behaving, and remember you can change weapons halfway through the game or whenever you like. On tighter maps with closer engagements, probably the PDW-57, but if things are a little bit more open, hang back and use the MTAR. Now, you may find that when you get used to these guns and how they handle, you may want to dispense with the red dot reflex sight and go back to the iron sights, because this really does speed up your draw, but you do lose quite a bit of visibility as the gun now blocks a lot of the screen. But by ditching the red dot reflex, you could go for the foregrip instead, and that makes both the MTAR and the PDM a little bit quicker to draw and a lot more accurate because it reduces the amount of recoil. But as I said, again, you lose a lot of visibility, so you'll have to try both out and see what works for you. Personally, at the moment, I prefer using a red dot, but I do like using the iron sights occasionally as well, so you've really got to see what is best for your style. As for perks, all this depends on your gameplay style, but to start off with you should try and go for lightweight so you can run around a little bit faster, toughness to stay on target under fire, and dexterity so you can aim quickly when you finish sprinting. Normally this is pretty much essential because you'll be running around and you'll go around a corner only to be confronted by a group of enemies, so you need to be able to start shooting really fast. When you get up to level 32, I would say swap the lightweight for flak jacket, because that will then protect you from grenades, claymores and the really annoying bouncing betties. And then for me, they're the three must-have perks: flak jacket, toughness and dexterity. And as you change around your classes, you may want to use the wildcards to add a second perk to one of the tiers. And I personally think the tactical mask is very good, as it makes you virtually immune to shock charges, concussion grenades and flashbangs. But, to balance it, you have to lose some other items. So again, give them a go and see what works for your style of play. And there's nothing wrong with running several different classes that you play for different maps or different situations. For lethal, I'd run a grenade or maybe some Semtex later on, And I don't really bother with the tactical, even though they are really useful, because I sacrifice the tactical to make sure I've got a launcher, and I use the FHJ-18AA, which comes with 2 missiles. But when you start with the small SMAW, and that's okay, but you only get 1 missile until you get the FHJ. Now, I know lots of people don't run launchers, but I think that the ability to take down enemy UAVs, counter-UAVs, gunships and delivery drones can make a real difference to your team winning or losing in a match, and I find it really satisfying to shoot down aircraft as well. You've just got to use them in the right way, and generally the way is this. If you're sort of running around the map and then you hear it come over the announcer, enemy UAV, what you do is you quickly look at the mini-map and see if you've got any opponents around you. Well, any teammates around you. Now, if they're fairly close, you know you're safe. And you've probably got sort of 2 to 3 seconds where you can have a look in the sky, see if you can see the enemy UAV or counter-UAV, and then shoot it down really quickly. Don't spend ages looking for it, because remember, you're appearing on their mini-map and the enemies will be looking for you and hunting you down. Similarly, if you get the announcer saying enemy UAV coming, if there's some big gaps around where you are, that means the enemies could be near you already. So again, don't get your launcher out. Stay safe, keep your gun out, hunker down, and get them as they're coming to get you. Now, score streaks are another tricky subject with lots of different advice out there, but I'd say start off with the UAV, the Hunter Killer and the Lightning Strike, and I'd probably switch the Hunter Killer for the Hellstorm missile when it becomes available at level 24, and you may want to mix in the counter UAV at level 33 depending on how you like to run. And I really like the remote track turret as well, but don't be too concerned if you don't earn these score streaks very often, because in Team Deathmatch Online it is very difficult. You do tend to get killed quite a lot, especially when you start off, and you'll find it the most common one you'll earn is the UAV, but remember that is useful because it's not only helping you to see the enemies but helping your team as well. Now, as we've talked about your class setup, it's really important to start practicing, and I recommend you work through all the maps playing locally against easy bots on Team Deathmatch to at least get you a little familiar with the layout of the different battlefields. Grind through the matches, changing the map around, and I promise you will get more accurate with the weapons and score streaks too. Just remember to match your local class that you set up to your one on Xbox Live, so you're kind of getting a good feel of the weapons. Use this practice time to note the spawn location, so see where the enemies are coming from and where they tend to run through the maps. Now, I'm not saying bots are going to behave like humans, but it will give you a start. Black Ops 2, like Black Ops 1, has the Nuketown map, and this is an amazing map for increasing your speed and accuracy, even if it will feel like absolute chaos to start off with. But it's great to test out different guns. It will get you checking corners like a madman, and you'll start to understand the consequences of things like spawn flips. And that's when you push hard into an enemy's territory and they start coming back to life instead of in front of you, behind you, and that can be pretty tricky to deal with. It's also pretty easy to rack up streaks on Nuketown against easy bots, and this will get you up to speed and practicing using your score streaks. Now, as a minimum, I recommend you play 2 local maps every time before you go online. One a map you're not familiar with to get used to it, and then Nuketown to get your reactions up to speed. Gun accuracy is so important in any Call of Duty game, and I've got a quick drill that'll start to improve your accuracy, your speed and your minimap awareness, and your peripheral vision as well. What you want to do is set up a local match on Nuketown, again against easy bots, but this time I want you to play free-for-all, and I want you to play against 8 recruit bots. But change the time limit to 20 minutes and the score limit to 100 points. Now, when you start playing, don't use your score streaks, just run and gun, killing as many as you can with each clip. With something like the assault rifle, you want to be trying to kill 3 people with each clip, so you're going to have to be aiming for the chest and the head. You're going to have to pick up other weapons as you go along, and that will help you learn about those and just see how you can improve your performance. And if you do this drill every day before you go online, I guarantee you'll be better in no time. Now before we talk about online tactics, I'd like to bring up your hardware setup. If you're playing online, you'll want a wired internet connection. Don't go wireless, and make sure you wear headphones too if you've got them, so you can clearly hear the direction of any action and even the footsteps of enemies running up behind you. So now you're ready for online. So go into Xbox Live and dive right in. Most of the maps in Black Ops 2 have a 3-lane structure, so it's pretty clear where your enemies are coming from to start off with. So try flanking midway down the map, around the edges, then cut in. If you're used to Advanced Warfare, you'll find the spawns a lot more predictable, and the secret here is that when you get the advantage and you know where the enemies are spawning because you've killed a few, don't push too far towards their spawn point. Get behind some cover and let them come to you. Drop a couple, then move location. Always be checking your minimap every couple of seconds. See where your teammates are and which direction they're pointing, and maybe they're flashing because they're firing, and that will tell you at least where the enemies aren't if they're not firing. Even if you haven't got a UAV up, look for the gaps on the minimap, and that will show you where your enemies will be coming from. And I can't stress that too much. Look for the gaps on the minimap where your teammates aren't, and that's probably where your enemies are going to be coming from. In the first few minutes of a game, gauge what your opponent's tactics are. Do they rush? Are some of them hanging back with sniper rifles? Are they travelling around in groups, or can you pick them off one at a time? Adjust your tactics accordingly, and remember, approach positions from different angles all the time. Don't try and go for revenge kills and rush that sniper who keeps picking you off. Creep round the other side and cap him in the back of the head. One more good tip to remember is that good enemies rarely move around the map alone. So if you kill one, be prepared for another to suddenly appear. So wait to reload until you're sure no one else will suddenly pop up. Now, no discussion of Black Ops 2 would be complete without a word about quickscopers. These are the players who take advantage of the auto-aim mechanic in the game to allow them to one-shot kill you with a sniper rifle almost instantaneously at any range, from close up to far away. And they don't even have to look properly down the sight. And this is incredibly annoying, and unfortunately Treyarch, the people who make the game, aren't going to do anything about it now. So you've just got to live with it by moving fast, avoiding long sight lines, and capping those quickscopers in the back of the head whenever you get the opportunity. In your first few hours, Black Ops 2 Online Team Deathmatch can seem very chaotic, so try not to charge from one end of the map to the other. It's okay to hang around one corner, patrolling back and forth, picking off enemies every now and again, and then switch to another corner. Once you get more accurate, you'll find you'll automatically become more aggressive. Okay, so that's enough for me from this beginner's guide. Hopefully you'll have the info to get you started, and believe me, having fun with Black Ops 2 Online Team Deathmatch is all about practicing against bots to improve your aim and map awareness, and then taking that online to see what you can achieve against human enemies. That's enough from me. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe. Any comments or questions down below, and I'll see you again soon.